It was back in 1967, and at the time I was drag racing cars, and I was a gearhead all the time, and I was into cars. And my boyfriend at the time started getting into motorcycles, and I didn't really care for it. I rode on the back of his bike a couple times, and it just really scared me. It was a very strange experience, but once I got on the bike, the smaller bike, and took off riding on it and got the feel of it and realized that you have to lean a bike and use your body language to make the bike maneuver and not just turn the handlebars like that and then you fall over, which I was doing a lot of, then I was hooked. My mother already wasn't too happy about drag racing cars, but when she said something to me about it, I said, I seem to remember somebody when they were younger flying airplanes. She was in the Navy, and a friend of hers taught her how to fly a Piper Cub. Back in the 60s and 70s, there were so few women out there riding. People kind of expected you to do something stupid, and they'd really have their eyes on you when you're riding your bike. It's definitely changing now over the years, now that more women are realizing they can slide up to the front seat and grab the handlebars, and it's a lot more fun. In 1985, I had founded the second chapter of Women in the Wind, which is now an international women's motorcycle club. And we came out with a one-page type newsletter. And the women just seemed to be starving for it. They were really eager to see it. And we started talking about it. We realized that most of the publications out there at the time were either very technical or very male-oriented. And I know I personally got tired of reading some of the bike magazines. You'd see a nice bike in the magazine, and there'd be some half-naked or naked woman draped all over it, and you couldn't see a good, you wanted to check out the carburetor or how they modified the frame or something, and you couldn't see it because her thigh or her leg was in the way or something. And so we talked about starting a magazine. We didn't have any idea what we were doing. My worst subject in high school was English, and I didn't graduate high school. Now we're at about 15,000 subscribers. I have one full-time girl now, and I've got 2 girls that volunteer help. I still have the office at my house.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Are you going to take care of sending the back issues out?
Yeah, I will.
Because they can go out right away because it's out of money order.
Laura, do you have that visa information we were looking into?
Yeah, thanks.
I had subscribers calling me from all over the country, and they were saying, how come I walk into my local store and Harley Women magazine is behind the counter with, next to the Playboys and the skin books? Well, I went to the distributor and I asked him about it, and he said there was nothing he could do about it. When it hit some of those stores, they didn't know what it was, and they looked at the title, and Harley Women, they just assumed it was going to be another one of the many skin-type motorcycle magazines that were out there. We went with a company that talked us into going in big volume on the newsstand, and it almost put me out of business. I remember the first time my chain broke, and I had to flag down a car, which was rather difficult because back then, when they saw a girl standing by a motorcycle, they just assumed the guy that was riding it went to get help or went to get something. So nobody'd stop. So I started learning more about the bike, and I got to be a fair mechanic. Do we have fresh oil here so I can put some on the Element?
I don't know, you should wipe it off though.
Now I have it on my pants. As I step on the float and break it. I don't think I could ever date a guy that wasn't involved in motorcycling because we wouldn't see each other during the spring, summer, and fall. We were invited out to Malcolm Forbes' estate, and he was presenting Liz Taylor with her Purple Passion Sportster. I went up and asked him if I could get a cover shot of him, and he said, sure, no problem. Well, then I was out of film, and so I had no film to do it, and he says, no problem, and he had his photographer that was there. He had him take a shot, and he sent us the picture so we could get him on the cover. A year later, I asked Malcolm Forbes if he'd be one of our Harley men, and he said, no problem. So I called him up, and not knowing shorthand or anything, I was going to ask him if I could tape the interview over the phone. And he offered, he says, if you want to tape this, go ahead. So I was kind of happy about that. Well, the phone that had the tape recorder in it, I started it up, and I was hearing this La Bamba music playing in the background, and I'm like, what? I couldn't figure out what was going on. He says, no problem. He says, I'll tape it on my end, and I'll send you the tape. Then I had to ask him, too. I says, I need some pictures to go with this article. I said, can you send me some pictures? And he goes, no problem, I'll send you some pictures. And by the end, I was ready to say, would you just mind writing this and laying it up and mailing it to me and get it all ready for the printer because you're doing everything anyway.
Yeah, that's what I was working on. Okay. What?
Hey, Joe, you want to come and taste some of this?
Yeah, I'd like to. Is this the new teriyaki?
Yeah.
I have it there if you want to, though,
All right.
All right. Okay, talk later. Bye.
Excellent flavor. Make sure you have a lot of this for when we ride to Sturgis.
I really wanted to do it myself. There's a lot more women riding bikes, and it's great.
I'd be an accident waiting to happen.
They're fools to think they can. It's scarier back here than it is up here.
Hi, I'd like you to try a sample. Honest to goodness beef jerky. It's best stuff for taking with you on a motorcycle trip or any kind of trip. My boyfriend makes it. It's really good. Very good. You can even throw it in your tank pots there and eat it while you're riding. That's what I do.
You'll be selling a lot of it.
I think so. It's almost addicting.
This is the best jerky I've ever ate.
This used to be my vacation, but now I get out here, get up about 6 in the morning, and that's when the day started. It ends about 1 or 2 in the morning. We hear there's approximately 200,000 people here enjoying the rally.
I always like to ride behind. I mean, after all, isn't it neat to have some big guy between your legs all the time?
The most important thing is be careful. You'll have a map, so don't try and bust your butt to keep up with us. It's just too hard with all the stop signs. We can't have them roadblocking every one. Okay, we're gonna go to 4th Street, and we're gonna turn over and go to Sherman. I've gotta get to the front of the pack so the walkie-talkie will work. So slowly move up by the other girl, and then everybody come up in 2s. Did you sign a release yet? Can I get you to sign a release for our run? I'm glad you're here again this year.
Oh, it's good to see you. I had such fun last year.
Everything all set up, so it should be a good day as long as Mother Nature is good to us.
riding Harleys and rich urban bikers. I'm a popular.
So like urban cowboys?
Yeah. Convinced all them lawyers and doctors and beggarmans and thieves. Well, gosh, if that little girl can ride that Harley, I'm gonna go buy me one.
Yeah, women rides Harley, then it should be that way. Not behind, on them. Make our own decisions which way to go. Where to pull off that pee when we want to.
Oh, man, don't you hate that?
I gotta pee. 5 more minutes, honey. We'll pull over.
Yeah. All right, pulling over to this motorcycle needs gas. Then when I do need gas, you better be back to the bathroom before this tank's filled up.
Not me. Whew, I love it, man.